Hi everyone, welcome back with another lecture today. And the problem that we are going to discuss is largest number formed from an array. So if you go to your SDE sheet, you'll see this problem right here. Let's have a look at the problem. So your problem says that you are given a list of non-negative integers. Arrange them in such a manner that they form the largest possible number. The result is going to be very large, so return the result in form of a string. So one thing to note here is the numbers are present in the array. They are integers, but actually they are actually a string array. So the array here is of type string. So how does it help us is I'll tell you now. Let's move to the whiteboard and understand this problem. Just a second. So what you need to do in this question is that you need to sort or arrange the numbers in such a way that you get the maximum number possible. How? I'll tell you. So, second. Okay. So this is your given array, which is actually a string array, and your output is something like this. Now, what does it tell you? What does it tell you? It tells you that you need to arrange the numbers present in your array in such a way that you get the largest possible number. So let's understand it in this way, that your array is 3. Just a second. Okay. So it's 3, 30, 34, 5 and 9. Okay. So if you were to arrange these integers in such a way that you get the maximum possible number, how will you do that? Let's say I give you 2, 9 and 1. Let's say these are some integers that I'm giving you. Can you arrange them in such a way that the formed number is the maximum possible number? What is the number itself? This is 291. Okay, one is this 291. What could be the other number? One number could be keep 2 in place and just swap these values. 219. This is one possible number. What could be the other possible way? Other possible way could be take 9 first and then maybe 1 2, or other can be 9, make it constant and change the other two values, or other one can be take 1 at this place, make it 29 or 192. So these are some possible numbers that I can form out of these three integers. Okay, which is the maximum number of these all? So if you see, the maximum number of these all is 921, right? So that's what you need to do with the given problem. How will you solve it? So here the problem is, how will you do it without using some any extra space here, let's say, or you can even take it, but your time complexity should not exceed n log n. So do you see something? If I sort this array, if I just simply sort this array, what am I going to get? Just simply sorting will give me 3 and then 5, then 9, 30 and 34. Now, if you see what kind of number is formed with this 3, 5, 9, 30, 34. Is it the largest number that I can get? Clearly not. You see, the largest number that I'll get should be starting from 9. That's how I'm going to get. But after 9, how will you decide which number should come so that we get the largest possible number? And getting this point. So, how to do that now? In order to solve this problem, we are going to make use of comparisons. Again, it's a trick part here. The trick part here is consider two numbers at a time. Two numbers. Let one number be x, other number be y. Okay, do this comparison for two numbers at a time. So if let's say your array was only 3 and 30, And I tell you that concatenate, since these are the arrays of the given arrays of string type, right? It's a string type array. And in string, when you concatenate two strings with each other, what do you get? If you concatenate, let's say str a, one is string a is equals to um let's say my, fine. String b is str b is name. Okay, and I tell you what is the a value for a plus b. So a plus b will be my name, right? So that's how concatenation and strings work, right? So I tell you, let's consider two numbers in the form of x and y, which are actually the numbers of the array. And if you concatenate x with y, you are going to get something like this: 3 3 0. This is x, this is y. And if you concatenate y with x, that is y plus x, you are going to get y, this is 30 and 3. And if you compare these two values, if you compare these two values, which one comes out to be bigger? This value comes out to be bigger. When you are comparing two things, you are comparing it with y plus x. Okay, so I think you can now recall also something, that where we are heading towards. So let's consider this greater x or some other value, this as y. So two values, when they are being compared using your compare to function in Java, what happens? Typically what happens? If x is greater than y, it returns some value which is 1, it returns 1. If x is less than y, it returns minus, negative value. Or if it is equal, then it returns you 0. And on the basis of these comparisons, the values that it is returning, it sorts them. So if this value is less than this value, that means a negative value is returned. That clearly means this is smaller, so this should come first, x should come before y. Otherwise, y should come before x. Now, what is x? Capital X is what? Basically, it is x plus y. And what is x plus y? X plus y is that you are taking this number first and this number after this. So basically, it is telling you that 330 should come before, if this value is greater than this value in that case. So it is simply telling me that x plus y should come before y plus x, and y plus x would be something like 303. So if that is the case, if it tells me that this is greater than this value, right, that means the comparison that I have made, that is x plus y compared with y plus x, which you can take as capital X capital Y for your own understanding, tells me if it is greater than this, it means this value is bigger than this. Ideally, we would want x plus y to come before this value, right? But but sorting doesn't happen like this in compare to function, right? I Either you modify your compare to function, or if you're using the interface by default, which is present dot compare to, then you are going to get an array which is in sorted order, in the increasing order, basically, right? So if I were to sort it using compare to function, I would have got something like this. But what we actually want is we also want this only, because right now this is the greatest one. But look here, what I'm trying to explain here is that you are making your comparisons. Your, let's say, a is x plus y, b is y plus x. Using your compare to function, you're comparing them. After comparisons, the array that you're going to get will be on the basis of the comparisons, and the number that it will give you will be the smaller one. Means, what is the smallest number you can get achieve using those values? So actually, the answer that you will get on applying compare to of on x plus y and y plus x, you're going to get an array something like this. Sorry, like this: 0 3 3. And you basically want the reverse of that. So it's nothing, it's very simple. You can simply iterate from the last index of your array, and you can append it to some string value that you are taking. So that's the whole idea behind this problem. If I were to dry run it, I can do it something like this. Let's say, just a second. So if this was your array, how am I making the comparisons? The comparisons are being made as simple as this. That first, let's say your I is at this index. Your I is at this position. Your J is at this position, right? Then 3 is being compared with 330 is being compared with 303, right? So how do you make this comparison? You do nothing, you just simply check if you append this value to this. So you are going to get 330. If you get 330, that is after appending J in I, you're going to get a bigger number. So 30 is at its right position or not? No, it is not. We want a bigger number. So for that, it should be swapped and 30 should come here and 3 should go here. Let me write it here. Okay. Then in that case, increment the count of I and you will be present here now. As in when your I becomes equal to the index of J, you just do nothing, increment the count of J and bring your I back to 0. Now you compare 3 with 34. So if you append 334 like this, then you get 334, and if you append ith value after the jth value, that is 343, you're going to get this value. So you get the one thing that 343 is bigger than this. To get 343, I should have 34 before 3, right? This is what I want. So in order to do that, I will do so again. But see, here I went wrong one way. I'll tell you what was wrong here. Wait. So what we are doing is, when we are comparing, initially my I is here, my J is here. When I compared, if 3 is before 30, I'll get 330. If 30 is before 3, I'll get 303. So I think this is the right order in which they are. So 30 need not to be swapped with 3 here. I do nothing. I'll just simply increment the count of I. No swapping happened. Now I and J both are at the same position. So I do nothing. I'll just increment the count of J and move my I back to 0 for another comparison. Now I compare 3 with 34. So if 3 comes before 34, my number would be something like this. And if 34 comes before 3, so my number will become 343. So which is the greater of two? 343 is greater. So for that, I need to swap the values. So 34 should be here and 3 should be here. Okay. And you increment the count of your I. Now your I is here. So I at ith I have 30 and at j I have 3. So if they are in this positioning, that 30 is before 3, I get 303. If I reverse the positioning, 3 is before 30, I'll get 330, which is greater. So in order to get a greater number, 3 should come before 30. This 3 should come before 30. So let's swap them. So this will become 30 now, and this will become 3 now. Okay, and I will come at this position. Whenever I and j are at the same position, increment the count of j and bring your I back to the 0th position, right? So what your array looks like: 34, 3, 30 as of now. Let me just write it properly. So right now it looks like this. Okay. So your comparison is of 34. If 34 comes before 5, it is 345. If 5 comes before 34, it becomes this. So this is bigger number. To get this number, I'll have to swap this value with 34. So this will become 34 now, and this value will become 5 now. Okay. And your I is incremented to this position. Now my comparison is 3, 3, 4. Or if 34 is before 3, so it will become 343. Clearly, this is bigger number. So 34, that is the value at jth index, should be swapped with the value at ith index. So this should be 34 and this should be 3. Correct? Now increment the count of I. Now 303, 33 or 330, which is bigger. 330 is bigger. To get 330, 3 should come before 30. So swap the values. So this will become 3, this will become 330, right? And then I comes at j. So both the indexes are at same position. Then bring your I back to 0th position and increment the count of j. That's how you're comparing it. Now 9 is compared with 5. So 59 or 95? Obviously 95. So for that 9 needs to come before 5. So swap them. 9 will be here and 5 will be here. Okay, fine. And what else? Can you do any more comparisons? Let me. Okay, yeah, you can. Now increment the count of I, and your I is come here and j is at the last index. So your number will become either 345 or 534. Clearly this is greater, so 5 will be swapped with 34 and this will look like this 5 and this will be 34. Increment the count of I. Now I is here. So 334 or 343? Clearly 343 or 334. So next number is greater. For that, swap this value. This will become 34. This will become 3. Right? Now your I is at this position. So what was this value? 34, 9, 5, 34. So this is 30 right now. So 30, this is 30. Now compare 30 with 3. So 303 will be bigger or 330 will be bigger. Clearly 330 will be bigger. So this value becomes 30 and this will become 3 after the swap. So finally what you get is 9, 5, 3, 4, 3, 3, 0. See, that's what you wanted. What we finally got is 9534330, 9534330. So I hope you understood the comparisons now. The whole idea is of comparing x plus y with y plus x. And if we use dot to compare to method of in Java, then we are going to get this number in the increasing order, that is sorted order. It will be something 0, 3, 3, 4, 3, 9, 5, and what we want is we want to iterate that value from the reverse, from the last index, so that finally what we get is this. You got the point. The whole point is that when you're comparing x with y, the number whatever you are getting would be sorted in the sorted order, that is in increasing order, increasing, and what we want is in the decreasing order of that number. So that is how you need to solve this problem. Let's move to the code and solve it. Let me check if you can see my screen. Yes, you can. So let's try to code it. Very shortened method of code that we are going to use. So let's create a string builder, because we don't have, in string we cannot increase or decrease the size of your string, right? In string builder, consider it as array list of strings. So string builder str equals to new string builder to store the answers. Okay, now arrays, you are using the sort method, arrays dot sort on arr and what, x comma y. What are the parameters? We are using the lambda function here. Understand this point. So lambda function is written in what way? You give parameters here and then what are you comparing? You are comparing x plus y dot compare to y plus x, right? That's what you're comparing. And so this is the lambda function, how lambda functions work. So what do you want to, on what do you want to make comparison? You want to give array, right? And what is the parameter of comparison? That is xy. And what are you comparing? Xy are actually the values of this array, any two values of this array at a time. So let's say x is 3, y is 30. So what do you want to compare? You want to compare 3 plus 30, that is 330, with 303, right? That's how you are trying to do the comparisons. And since arrays dot sort will give you an array back in the sorted order, in which such that your number, the number that you're going to form from that array, is going to be the smallest possible number, and we want the reverse of it. So just do nothing, just iterate over that. For int, I is equal to arr dot length, string array it is, right? Length minus 1, I greater than equal to 0, and I minus minus, right? Do what? In str dot append arr of I, and then just return str dot to string. Let's check if this works or not. Nine, five. So basically, this problem needs you to have a good understanding of comparator functions in Java, how comparators are being, how you can also define a comparator for yourself. We could have defined a comparator for ourselves, but here we have used inbuilt ones. So this is the point to understand that after comparisons, the array that we are going to get would be in the order of numbers such that it is the smallest possible number, and we want to get the maximum largest possible number. That is why we are iterating from the end of that array and appending that to some string which we have defined here, and that is what we are going to return. So this needs you to have a good understanding of strings and all, and also this comparator function. This is the lambda function that we have used here. And even if you have not understood how the string or comparators are being used, don't worry, string is going to come in your upcoming lectures, and comparator will also come when I'll maybe go on searching and sorting. We can take this up. So that was all about today's problem. I hope you have understood. Fine, everyone. Then see you in next lecture, that is tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.